All right, Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Wadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops at Great Millstone. I'm your brother, Rabbi Knapp, coming out with a lesson. Lord's will, this is edifying to the Lord's elect. Let's get right into it today. See what the news is talking about. This is Duck says he wants Iran's oil, and travelers frustrated with Congress over shutdown. Because we're having a shutdown, a partial shutdown of the government. That's why, you know, they're getting rid of your TSA workers at the airports. There was also news articles about him sending the National Guard to your airports to help with, so he sent the ICE agents to help with TSA, but now he's gonna send the National Guard to help with the ICE agents. So it's just showing you it's full of bullshit, man. Something about to go down. He's already telling you he wants to send 10,000 troops over there to the Valley of Jehoshaphat. So, you know, nothing but an escalation. You don't want to be deceived by him telling you all that, okay? Because we know that prophecy is all about prophecy, man. Prophecy is to be fulfilled. Matter of fact, let me start over here in the book of Luke 21. There's going to come a time when these troops ain't going to be at the airports. They're going to be going down your streets. Hey, Shalom, King. Yahweh Ba'Shem Shah Barakatah. Shalom, Malak. The Lord bless you, man. Nice seeing you, my man. Luke 21, in verse 20. And when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh. So Yahweh Shah was telling us back then during 70 AD, when you see, this is before it even happened, when you shall see Jerusalem compassed about with armies, just know the desolation thereof is nigh. And that's what we're going to be seeing again in these last days. You're going to start to see military troops, checkpoints, where's your whatever form of ID they want you to use in that time, where's your MOTB, we need to scan your hand, scan your forehead. Oh, you don't have one? Come with us. We're going to bring you to a chipping station and get you prepared. So all these things are going to happen. All right, so them sending troops and then them sending ICE and then them sending National Guard, don't be fooled by that, whatever he's telling you. And that's a weak-ass excuse to help with the TSA. The TSA's been there for a long time, okay? They know how to work in the airports. Then you're going to bring some random dumbass ICE agent in there like he don't know shit. Okay, he gonna go in there and he gonna be asking people, are you even American at a damn airport? Okay, so it's not about that. It's strategic setting up military in your country, in your states. Okay, just like the Lord said it was gonna happen, because we believe that there's gonna be a sedition. You saw the No Kings protest. He didn't even get started yet. You got the Houthis getting in. Gas price is $3.69. He said that's going up. The oil per barrel is $116 per barrel. So at 98 cents per barrel, you were looking at $3.69 where I'm at. Okay, but it's gonna increase because you know, that price, that barrel's going up, and the fact that the Houthis are getting in there. And if you watched the regular news last night, they were saying by summertime, you should be about around $5. So from here until now, you can expect an increase. Okay, let me grab this and this is good. This is nothing to be mad about. If you love the Lord, you should be hastening the day. You know, but for those of you who are so far up Esau's ass, this is gonna be hell for you. It's gonna be hell for everybody. I mean, I gotta use these roads too. I gotta put gas into my tank. But my mind says to get into the kingdom. All right, so I'm gonna suffer whatever, but I'm gonna rejoice in the Lord the whole time as I'm suffering. But y'all ain't gonna have that joy. You're gonna be like that woman, Noelia Castillo in Spain, who she opted for euthanasia because she got raped by a bunch of people, and she wanted to get the hell up out of here. And in Spain, she went to court to do it, and then they authorized it and they put her to death on the 26th. So the same shit's gonna happen with y'all. Y'all ain't gonna know how to cope with what's going on in this world, and you're gonna be destroyed too. Okay, that's why your faith need to be built up for that time. Okay, you tells you in 2nd Ezra, the 16th chapter, that we shall be like pilgrims upon the earth. So having a mindset of leaving this place is not something that Israel is really used to, because we've been at rest here for too long. But it's going to come a time where you're not even going to be able to go back home. 2nd Ezra chapter 16, verse 40. O my people, hear my word, make you ready to the battle. And in those evils be even as pilgrims upon the earth. So you're going to have to be like a pilgrim upon the earth. Because you're not going to have the ability to buy or sell, according to Revelation 13, 16. So you're going to have to take the chip and forsake the Lord and get put to death, or you're going to have to be like a pilgrim in the earth. And it said, be ready for that battle. That's the real battle right there. When you're not bowing the knee to the image of Baal, which is this system. So then we're going to see who the Lord's dealing with in that time. It's not going to be, we don't have to speculate anymore. Who is who? You know, who's, you know, we're going to find out. When your hands start itching, then it turns into some cancerous sore, we're going to know you ain't the elect. You never was. Okay? So ain't going to be no more guessing. Like we call ourselves the hopeful elect. Ain't gonna be no more hopeful elect. You gonna know in that time who the Lord's dealing with. It's gonna be a vast. It's gonna be quick, just like the jab shot. That was a foreshadowing of the scenario when the chip gets implemented. Okay. Let me grab this. Find it in 1 Kings. Grab it in Romans 11. They'll probably give me the precept. Romans 11. And verse number 4. But what saith the answer? Well, I'll start at the top. Romans 11:1. I say then, have God cast away his people, who are the Israelites, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans? God forbid. That means no. For I also am an Israelite. So Paul's telling you he knows that he's an Israelite. And of the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin. So he knows he's from the tribe of Benjamin. He knows he's an Israelite. Okay? But you people don't know that. Okay? So he's telling Israel that. Romans 11:2, God have not cast away his people, which he foreknew. The people that he's talking about are the Israelites. He didn't forsake them. He made a covenant with them. He didn't stop fucking with them and then said, everyone can join me now. That never happened. There's no precept in the Bible that says all these silly ass, stupid ass heathen nations can come join and be a part of the covenants and the promises. That's not the case. Okay? Romans 11 and verse 3. Lord, they have killed thy prophets and digged down thine altars, and I am left alone, and they seek my life. So that's Elijah. Talking about, he thought during the prophets of Baal, he was putting them to, after he had that sacrifice in 1 Kings, the 17th chapter, he put those prophets to death, and then Jezebel was going to search him out. So he thought he was the only one left that was serving the Lord. And he thought if they kill me, then the world's going to forget about Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua. Okay? Romans 11 verse 4, but what saith the answer of God unto him? I have reserved to myself 7,000 men who have not bowed the knee to the image of Baal. So there's 7,000 men, 7 going into completion, that's not going to bow the knee to this image. Or Esau, the so-called white man. It's just not going to happen. It's not in their spirit to do so. They have they're fully persuaded in their mind. They're not serving the so-called white man like these people, man. Okay? So they're going to be taking the chip. They're the ones that are going to take the MOTB. They're the ones that are going to be destroyed by thermonuclear destruction. Because that's what's coming to this place. But the Lord reserves some men not to bow the knee to this nigga. Stop going to his harlot house and stop believing his lies. To trust and believe on him. Okay? This is the book of Isaiah. Chapter 30. And verse number. Isaiah chapter 30. And Verse 20. And though the Lord give you the bread of adversity and the water of affliction, yet shall not thy teachers be removed into a corner anymore, but thine eyes shall see thy teachers. So hold on. Yeah, you gonna see your teachers, because he's the one that's what precept am I looking for? That's not what I was looking for. I was looking for that's Isaiah 10, excuse me. But I might as well break it down. Let's read that again. Isaiah 30 and 20. Oh, and though the Lord give you the bread of adversity and the water of affliction, yet shall not thy teachers be removed into a corner anymore, but thine eyes shall see thy teachers. So that word corner is meaning to be hidden, okay? Your teachers ain't gonna be hidden, all right? They're gonna be out there on the highways and hedges so you can see them, okay? And that's how they're gonna know that Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua sent you, because you're gonna have the knowledge by the time they come to you. You're gonna have the faith in the Lord. You're not gonna be hidden in the harlot houses or hidden somewhere in the cut, in your closet somewhere teaching. They're gonna be out on the highways and hedges bidding those to the marriage. But the precept I was looking for, so your eyes shall see thy teachers. The bread of adversity and the water of affliction is going through it's pretty much the afflictions that the Lord puts upon you for this. We're going through that Deuteronomy the 28th chapter. We're going through the curses right now as a nation because we transgress the laws of God. That's why we're in the position that we're in. So He set up a base nation like the so-called white man to rule over you. Okay. But according to the Lord, according to Romans 11, Paul said He has not forsaken His people, which means Deuteronomy 7 and 6, you still above all people, okay, upon the face of the earth. But He set the basis of men on top of you, just like it tells you in Daniel 4, verse 17. But now, the fact that He's giving that water of affliction, that bread of adversity, was going into you losing your nationality, going into slavery, getting your kids killed, all of this shit, man. Still getting put to death, being hung, no justice. No peace from the so-called white man. That's the bread of adversity and the water of affliction. That's the curses in Deuteronomy 28, 15 on down. But let me grab this in the book of Isaiah 10. Isaiah chapter 10, verse number 20. And it shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Israel, which are the elect of Israel, and such as are escaped of the house of Jacob, so Israel and Jacob, which is talking about the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. Because there was a split after the fall of King Solomon, after the 40 years of peace with Jeroboam and Rehoboam. So these two kingdoms that never came back together. Okay, now they're starting to come back together via the word. Isaiah 10 and 20. And it shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Israel and such as are escaped of the house of Jacob shall no more again stay upon him that smote them, but shall stay upon the Lord, the Holy One of Israel, in truth. That's right. So they're not going to stay upon the so-called white man who smote them. Okay, he's the one who put them to death. He's the one who taught them these lies. This modern day form of Christianity was given to you by the so-called white man. That's why his form of religion brings forth more corruption, more wickedness. Okay, because he ain't right. Tells you in Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter, that his soul is lifted up and it's not upright in him. Uprightness goes into righteousness. His soul's not right. Okay, so he can't provide you with any form of righteousness, any justice. Okay, that's not what he's set up to do down here. He's set up to be the devil, to exalt wickedness down here on the earth. So they're not going to stay upon him that smote them anymore. So they're not trusting Esau religiously. They're not trusting in his economics to save them. They're not trusting in the MOTB, ultimately. Because that's when you really bow the knee to the image of Baal. Right now, you can repent from taking the jab shot if the Lord wants you to live. And that was up to him. You know, not all of that shit was effective. None of that, no weapon formed against thee shall prosper. So if you part of that elect, even if he hit you with the jab, it's not going to do anything to you. Even if he poisoned you, it's not going to do anything to you because you're part of that number. Okay, let me grab that in Isaiah 54. But the point I'm trying to make is you can repent from that. You know, but it should have been a lesson that you need to have more faith in the Lord. Because because that could have got you put to death. Isaiah 54, in verse 16, behold, no, so verse 17. Isaiah 54, verse 17, no weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment thou shalt condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and their righteousness is of me, saith the Lord. So their righteousness is of me, and no weapon that's formed against thee shall prosper. Okay? Because there's you got angels that work on your behalf. You know, it tells you that in the book of Matthew, the 18th chapter. So, you know, when you're met with certain scenarios, the Lord ain't gonna let you fall in those situations. He ain't gonna let the enemy's weapons prosper against you. Okay? Even in these last days, he ain't gonna hit you with the discombobulator if you got the Lord. He gonna lift up a standard against for you. Matthew chapter 18, verse 10. Take heed that ye despise not one of these little ones, for I say unto you that in heaven their angels do always behold the face of my Father which is in heaven. So you can't despise them. Okay? Because their angels are always before the face of the Heavenly Father. So they always reporting with your state down here on the earth to the Lord. And they speaking on your behalf. Lord, he needs help. You know, the enemy's trying to hit him with the jab. He actually already hit him with the jab. Oh, okay. Well, make sure it don't work. And then they go and minister unto you. But if he ain't dealing with you, he's not gonna send them that he's gonna say, and he don't serve me. Okay? So, you know, tell him to get his house ready in order. He out of here. So you don't want that to be said about you. You want the Lord, you want to have a good report with the Lord when these angels report to the Lord about your current status down here on the earth. Every law you transgress, he's hearing about that. You know, and just equal and opposite. You doing something righteous, he gonna hear about that too. Okay? Let me grab this in the book of Psalms 34, verse 7. You know, these angels, I was going into that last night. Michael the archangel, he about to come and he about to deliver the elect, man, during Jacob's trouble. Y'all ain't gonna have that type of protection. Your angels ain't gonna tell you that, because majority of you, your angels are demons. So they going to the spiritual demon Satan, who gonna go to the Lord, and the Lord gonna tell him, put that nigga to death, and then he gonna touch you. Psalms 34, verse 7. The angel of the Lord encampeth round about them that fear him and delivereth them. So a lot of y'all don't fear the Lord, because if you feared the Lord, you would obey him. You would be keeping the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of your ability. You would be preparing yourself to celebrate his Passover this week. But you ain't gonna do that. You probably got ash on your head from fucking those damn Catholics from Palm Sunday. The same day that shit happened in Nigeria, the Islam went in there and did a great slaughter. It killed like 13, 14 people in the Nigerian church. I don't know if it was a church, but they were definitely Christians. Great slaughter. They did it on that specific day. Now Nigerians, some of them go back to the tribe of Judah too. And then in there, they looking at all the dead bodies and they say, oh Lord, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. They'll never learn. They'll never learn, man. And that's why y'all be getting put to death. Because you praying to the so-called white man. Okay? And the same shit gonna happen here. You think you're gonna be safe in the Holler House and you're gonna get blown away in there. There's gonna be great massacres in your churches. You see synagogues getting blown up, they're gonna start blowing your shit up. Because you're fucking stupid. Praying to the so-called white man. All that idol worship, that's just a rap. He's a rap, you're a rap, everyone who worships is a rap. Okay? Simple as that. We'll grab this in the book of Proverbs, chapter 1. Verse 7. Not praying to the so-called white man. You out of your fucking minds. Proverbs chapter 1, verse 7. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. That's right, a fool despises wisdom and instruction. Okay? The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. You don't fear the Lord, you can't begin to know anything. Like it tells you in 2 Corinthians the 15th chapter. All the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. That's talking about you Israelites. You're the unfaithful. Right? He made a covenant with you. 2nd Ezra chapter 15, verse 4. For all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. So you being unfaithful still. Cheating on them with a nasty ass Edomite, that's a damn sodomite. Homosexual. Spiritually. That's talking about the so-called white man that you worship. Caesar Borgia. Sleeps with his sister, I forgot, ancestral too. He had a relationship with his sister. Allegedly, when you Google it, everything's alleged when it comes to Caesar Borgia. He wants to keep his image. Killed his own brother, just like an Edomite, just like Cain. Killed his brother, stabbed him in the back. Or I think he stabbed him in the front. I saw him in the, but he stabbed him nonetheless. Okay. What else? What else did he do? He was, Mad Wars. He started Mad Wars. He was like a war general. That's who y'all worship. That's why there's war all over the earth. This Christianity and Catholicism, that's the #1 religion down here on the earth. Look how wicked this place is. Because that's not the right doctrine of the Lord. That's not the right image. So-called white man being in power shows you that this is an unnatural state. Okay? The fact that servant got power, that's backwards. It's absolutely, it doesn't even make any sense. Nigga don't know how to do any foreign policy. He's an idiot. All right? He thinks sacrificing kids gives him power. He thinks eating human meat gives him strength. Look at the nigga's bald head. Look at his body. He's nothing elite about that nigga. Okay? He barely can even play any sports. Okay, that's why he's the head coach, but he don't even know how to throw the ball. Where's I going? Proverbs 1 and verse 7. I'm going to Habakkuk. I forgot where I was going. Habakkuk. As a matter of fact, let me start here. Nahum, chapter 3 and verse 1. Woe to the bloody city. Woe means death and destruction to America. It is all full of lies and robbery. The prey departeth not. Yeah, the prey departeth not. The prey is talking about the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Okay, you haven't departed from this place. Especially you stupid ass niggas. You got sent here in 1619, and now this is your home all of a sudden. You got kidnapped, nigga. You don't understand that? Fucking stupid. And you want to be under captivity. You don't want to rule over these Edomites. You used to have our foots on these niggas. Okay, throwing them off of cliffs. All right. So we terrorize these people, and it's gonna happen again. All you damn niggas and Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, this nigga's a goat. You supposed to be, and I ain't talking about the greatest of all time. That nigga's a goat, like spiritually. Okay, he got nothing on the line. All right, but if you don't want to, if you don't want to serve the Lord, you're gonna be devoured. Goat's gonna take over the lion. Okay, so the prey departeth not. That's talking about you Israelites that are still here. You don't want to go back to the land of Israel. You don't want to go back into rulership. You don't want to sit on the throne anymore. You gave up. Okay, so y'all can give up. Y'all that's being weak. Esau has wounded you spiritually. You continue to be within the congregation of the dead. That the Lord got men who ain't wounded anymore. Okay, He's given them the breath of life. So they came out of that grave. Let me grab this in Revelation 11. Revelation 11 and 1. And there was given me a reed like unto a rod, and the angel stood saying, Rise and measure the temple of God and the altar and them that worship therein. So we're measuring the temple of God with the Bible. Okay, that's the measuring stick. Okay, through the believers we're teaching the word, seeing if you can get it or not. If not, we're just gonna keep it moving. Okay. Revelation 11:2. But the court which is without the temple leave out, and measure it not, for it is given unto the Gentiles, in the holy city shall they tread underfoot 42 months. So that's talking about y'all outside of this truth. We're not measuring y'all. 42 months goes into the 350-year period, 1619 to 1969, which is well, the period from coming over here on slave ships is still to this time. We're still in that time. Okay. Revelation 11:3, and I'll give power unto my two. Actually, in the holy city shall be tread underfoot 42 months. Oh no, that's the next verse. And I will, Revelation 11:3, and I will give power unto my two witnesses, which is the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom, and they shall prophesy 1,260 days clothed in sackcloth. And that's when we were going through slavery. Okay, we weren't actually on the highways and hedges prophesying in sackcloth. We were going through the curses in Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. Okay, until we were given this word. So that's us prophesying in sackcloth. Okay, Revelation 11:4. These are the two olive trees and the two candlesticks standing before the God of the earth. Yeah, these are the two olive trees. These two witnesses, which is the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. Two olive trees are not talking about these other nations. Man. They're not considered olives. Okay, people go to what's that? Revelation 11. You know, they think they're part of the olive branch. That's not talking about you heathen being grafted in and all of that. That's talking about those who fell away from their nationality, talking about the Israelites and started following Greek customs. Okay, those are the branches that fell off the same tree. The branches didn't fall off and then they went somewhere else and grabbed some branches from a different tree and then grafted it into that tree. No, the branches that fell off that were originally connected to the tree that fell off, they put it back. That's the grafted in. It's not another branch from another tree. That's some GMO shit. Okay? Yeah, where all nations can come in because these branches broke. Nah, that's not how that works. That's how this world tells you it works. It don't work like that. Jeremiah 11:16. The Lord Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai called thy name, a green olive tree, fair and of goodly fruit. With the noise of a great multitude, he hath kindled fire upon it, and the branches of it are broken. So he was talking about you. He kindled a fire upon it, talking about the afflictions that he put on that tree that caused the branches to break. Okay, it broke with Jeroboam and Rehoboam when Solomon got put to death. Well, when he died, I should say. He didn't get put to death like someone killed him. He actually died. Okay, so that's when the branch broke. And the Lord grafted them back in. And this word is what's grafting them back in. All right? Let me grab another precept. Psalms 52. Psalms 52 in verse number 8. But I am like a green olive tree in the house of God. I trust in the mercy of God forever and ever. Yeah, I am like a green olive tree in the mercy of God. So these are Israelites referring to themselves as the olive tree. Where the heathen discussed as being olive trees in the Bible. Just because you call yourself an olive tree, I can call myself Michael Jordan. Does that mean I'm Michael Jordan? Just like the heathen do. You want to be like Mike. You want to be like Israel. You can't. You don't want to go through the adversity. You don't want to drink the water of affliction to be Israel. All right? You don't want to stand upon your feet. You don't want to prophesy because you're not Israel. And none of these promises belong to you. Okay? You like to listen to the music, but you don't want to live the life. That sucks to be you. Okay? Revelation chapter 11, and verse 5. And if any man will hurt them, fire proceedeth out of their mouth and devoureth their enemies. And if any man will hurt them, he must in this manner be killed. That's right, fire proceedeth out of their mouth. And that's this fire right here. Okay? That's the fire that's proceeding out of our mouths. But eventually, who knows? That spiritual power's coming too. You're going to get burned up. That's the manner that you should get you should get burnt up in. As a matter of fact, let me grab this in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 23. Jeremiah 23. Jeremiah 23, verse 29, is not my word like as a fire, saith the Lord, and like a hammer that breaketh the rock in pieces? So there you go. His word is like a fire, saith the Lord. And spiritually, y'all getting burnt up. We burning this place up through the Spirit. Which is going to manifest physically. Okay? For those of you who come against us, you're going to get burned up. Revelation 11 and 6, these have power to shut heaven, that it rain not in the days of their prophecy, and have power over waters, to turn them to blood, and to smite the earth with all plagues, as often as they will. That's right. And, you know, that's going into Moses. It's also going into Elijah. Elijah smote the waters in Exodus, and he turned it into blood. He sent plagues upon Egypt. No, excuse me, Moses did that. Elijah sent fire from heaven to come down and rain upon the 50 and their captains multiple times. Okay? That's what the men of the Lord are instead of. They're the ones who are bringing in, they're bringing in the prophecies, which are bringing in the plagues, which are bringing in prophecy to be fulfilled. Them speaking it with understanding and with the Spirit is what's causing the destruction of Babylon. Okay? It starts with this word. It's breaking the rock in pieces. Okay? Petra. Talking about Esau, Edom, Mount Seir. This word is making his king, making him go insane and reprobate and going to fight wars he can't win. Because of this word. Revelation 11 and 7. And when they shall have finished their testimony, the beast that ascendeth out of the bottomless pit shall make war against them and shall overcome them and kill them. That's right. Okay. When they have finished their testimony. This is our testimony. Okay. The testimony of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua. Let me grab this in the book of Revelation 19 and 10. Y'all don't have the testimony of the Lord, man. Oh, I remember what precept I wanted. Revelation chapter 19 and 10. And I fell at his feet to worship him, and he said unto me, see thou do it not. I am thy fellow servant and of thy brethren that have the testimony of Yahushua, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus. Worship God, for the testimony of Yahushua is the spirit of prophecy. So we got the spirit of prophecy. That's the testimony. Prophecy. Okay? So when that is finished, the beast that ascendeth out of the bottomless pit shall make war against them. That's right. The beast that's coming out of the bottom, that's the Roman Empire. Okay? It shall overcome them and kill them. Who did they kill? They killed the prophets. They killed they were martyrs. Okay? Those who believe, those who had the testimony of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua. Those are the people who got slaved back then in the Roman Empire. And that's who he's going to try to come and kill in this time. Okay? Now, it might seem insane. Why would you be setting yourself up for death? Because the Lord's going to lift up a standard. And if you die, you don't really die. Ain't no death. Okay? It's called getting the victory. So, we're not scared of Esau's sword. We're not doing it. We're not here operating in we're not operating in fear. Okay, the Lord ain't give us the spirit of fear. You got a sound mind. And it might sound crazy to y'all, but this is a natural reaction that you should have when you're in captivity to a fucking devil. Okay? Y'all don't have natural reactions. You people are not natural. You people are unnatural. That's why you gotta get put to death. That's why you put GMO shit in your ass, and in your breast, and in your lips, and in your eyes, and in your forehead. Botox and shit like that, because you're unnatural. Okay? You eat unnatural things. You eat things that are unlawful, unclean. So you're unclean too. Okay? And there's a small remnant of people that the Lord of Israelites that actually still got a sound mind. And they see the world for what it is. You got to be sincere to see it. This nigga got enchantments all over. They got propaganda constantly going out. That's what y'all eat up. Y'all ain't eating the words of Yahweh by Hashem. Y'all ain't filled with the knowledge of the Lord. You filled with football and false religions and doctrines and talk shows and podcasts and lies in the news. Okay? AI generated videos and shit like that. That's what y'all are fed off of. Folly. Foolishness. That's why you're foolish. Revelation. I read that. Revelation 19 and 10. So that's the testimony. And he's going to be coming up against us again. Let me grab this in Revelation 12. Revelation 12. And in verse 11. Actually, let me start up with Revelation 12 in verse number 9. I'll start at 9. It says, okay, Satan's messing with me now. Now I'm going hard. Revelation 12 and verse 9, and the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceived the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. Now that's talking about, I should have read up more, but that's talking about Michael fighting up, fighting up against his angels. Okay, because these chariots are gonna make war with Esau's angels. Okay. Revelation 12 and 10, and I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength in the kingdom of our God and the power of his anointed, for the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our God day and night. And that's talking about the so-called white man accusing you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans to your God day and night, accusing you of breaking all of his laws, saying, let me put them to death, Lord. Look at them. Look what they worship. They worship an abomination. Look at them. Caesar Borgia. They love it. They eat pork. They're abominable. Don't forsake them. Destroy them. Let me rule. I don't have to be wicked. I can change and be righteous. You know? Just allow me to put them all to death. And let me show you how great I am. Okay? That's where he's accusing you to your own power. Revelation 12 and 11. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb. So you got to have the blood of the Lamb, which is Yahweh Shai. And by the word of their testimony, and they love not their lives unto the death. So there you go. You're supposed to not love your life unto the death. And you overcome this devil by the word of the testimony. Revelation 12 verse 12. Therefore rejoice ye heavens and ye that dwell in them. So the heavens represent the believers of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. So the kingdom of heaven's already here on earth, but it's just scattered. He gonna bring it all together. Okay, when we get into that chariot. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. So woe means death and destruction. To the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. Talking about you people. For the devil has come down unto you having great wrath. The devil's talking about the so-called white man, Esau, Edom. The word devil just means a deceiver. He deceives you into believing all this bullshit that you believe. Okay? He's the devil. Always lying. And you actually believe that shit. Esau is a fucking devil. Their whole nation are a bunch of devils. There's multiple devils. Okay? That's what Esau is. Okay? He's the one who got short time. He's the one that's coming in with great wrath because he know we got a short time left. All right? Because he knoweth that he hath but a short time, meaning a short time to rule. All these, that's why the big controversy about this 250th anniversary, this might be the last Passover coming up. All right, so you know, those of you who've never celebrated the Passover, I'm probably gonna start posting some videos on how to make unleavened bread. There was this, I found an Israelite woman making unleavened bread. That's the type of videos you women should be making. How to cook something. That's a beautiful, that's a powerful video. Seeing a woman that's in order, she's not teaching, but she is teaching at the same time, but she's showing you how to make bread, okay? And it's a good video to learn if you never made unleavened bread before. It's good to make it for yourself. But you know, even if you can't, there's other crackers and stuff, kosher shit you could buy. I don't want to say kosher shit, but kosher food you can buy. But you're not supposed to eat unleavened bread. And you know, for 7 days, that goes into donuts. Your bread is leavened. Everything Esau gives you is leavened. So pretty much that's why you probably got to make it yourself. You can't get anything without leaven. Pretty much, it's hard to get it. As a matter of fact, if you go to one of these supermarkets, you can get some unleavened bread. I forgot. If I find one, I'll post it. If you're in the Boston area, but I forgot the name of the bread. Haitians eat it all the time. Some dry bread. That's all it is. But it's unleavened, and it's good too. It's better for you. Okay. So even, you know, you don't have to wait for the Passover to eat unleavened bread. You can eat unleavened bread whenever. It's actually better for you. All that leaven, it got so much other shit in it that you don't even need. But that's what's coming up. Revelation chapter 12, and it's ironic that this Passover is on the same Passover as Amalek. Amalek celebrates the Passover this year on the same day. So this is why I'm saying it might be the last Passover. Who knows? You know, I'm just speaking as a man. Revelation 12 and verse 13, and when the dragon saw that he was cast unto the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man-child. Now that's talking about, ultimately, when you read the chapter, it's talking about a woman which represents the nation of Israel, and the dragon represents Esau, Edom, the nation of Esau, or nation of Edom. Okay, he's the dragon. So he was cast on the earth, and he went to persecute the woman which brought forth the man-child, which matches up with Matthew the 2nd chapter when Herod went to go get Yahushua, and the angel was sent to Joseph so he could go hide into Egypt until Herod died, and then he came back. But he wanted to persecute that child. Herod went and killed a lot of young babies trying to kill the Lord. Okay, so those are the little ones too, man. And I always think, you know, some of those kids that got put to death, I wouldn't be surprised if some of those were the elect, because they were innocent. Babies didn't do anything. But that's just me speculating, you know, through the Spirit. All right. Revelation chapter 12 and verse 14. And to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place, where she is nourished for a time, and times and a half a time, from the face of the serpent. That's right. So that's talking about the nation of Israel during the Roman Empire. They came in and tried to kill the nation of Israel, and they escaped. And they went to the inner parts of Africa, because during that time, the Northern Kingdom was already here in America. This is before. This is 70 AD we're talking about. So those are the great wings that came, and they went inside of Africa, escaping Roman persecution. Okay, for to be nourished for a time, and a times and a half a time. So a certain amount of time. We spent a lot of time in Africa. Actually, we never went back to the land, and then after that, we got so comfortable in Africa that those other African nations, or Hamite nations, they clicked up with so-called white man to take down the nation of Israel, and that's how we came over here. Esau tells you, he thinks you're all black, you Curious George to him, that you were swinging on trees and shit. No, we weren't. We were keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, being Israel in Africa too. They got different maps before the so-called white man changed it up to what you declare Africa today. Big parts of Africa we had, and we were in power over there. All right. But then these stupid ass Africans, I'm talking about the actual Hamitic nations, worked with the so-called white man, and they brought us into slavery. It wasn't Israel. I mean, probably some Israelites too, but it was mostly the so-called white man and those African nations working up against us. And that's how the transatlantic slave trade went. Just because everyone's black don't mean we're all brothers and shit. Or dark skin. That's Esau's stupid ass trying to deceive you. The reason why he talks like that, because he's a fucking serpent. He wants to tell you lies. He don't want you to. The last thing he wants is the nation of Israel to know who they are in these last days, because that's his ass after that. So he's measuring the time through us. Because that's the only time that he's seeing what we're saying. We're seeing how many people are waking up to the truth. That's why you got niggas like Vocab Malone. He's doing all the footwork for the so-called white man, but he still can't number how many people actually believe. Okay? There's probably people that's amongst him that are also Israelites, because you can't tell who's Israel in these days, because we've been scattered and we're in all nations. So we look like every other nation. Revelation chapter 12 in verse 15, and the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman, and that flood's talking about the Romans. The serpent, and it's like is Esau sending the Romans to come get us. That's the flood. That he might cause her to be carried away of the flood. And we got carried away of the flood. We went into the inner parts of Africa. And the earth helped the woman. And the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood, which the dragon cast out of his mouth. So there was a certain, they got taken out. Okay. Rome fell. So we thought we were good, right? Then you get the transatlantic slave trade after that. Renaissance period. Okay, you come 1492, Christopher Columbus. You know, that's what Revelation 17 goes into. Taking down the northern kingdom, the northern kingdom first. Y'all were on slave ships first, and then Revelation 16:19, fulfilling Deuteronomy 28, verse 68. Revelation 12, verse 17, and the dragon was wroth with the woman. So the dragon, which is Esau, was wroth with the woman, which is Israel, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which are the elected Israel, which keep the commandments of God and have the testimony of Yahushua HaMashiach. So we have the prophecies. Okay, going back to Romans 11 and 7 again. And when they shall have finished their testimony, the beast that ascended out of the bottomless pit shall make war against them and shall overcome them and kill them. And that's what he did during the Roman Empire. Okay? But it's going to happen again. Because he's going to, like it just said in Revelation 12 and Revelation 19, he's going to make war with the woman. Revelation 11 and 8, and their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which is spiritually called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. So that's talking about America. The great city is America, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt. Sodom, because of the sexual immorality of this place, is just like Sodom and Egypt is the house of bondage according to Exodus 20 and 2. So that's talking about being in slavery here under the so-called white man again. Because that's what Egypt represents, bondage. And where our Lord was crucified. Our Lord wasn't crucified in Sodom or in Egypt. But he was crucified here spiritually. Because look at how people think about the Lord. They think he's a so-called white man. They think he's all three in one, him, the Father, and the Holy Spirit. You know, that's the crucifixion. That's Esau crucifying the Lord spiritually to you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And so he can exalt himself. But those lies, we ain't falling for that shit. I mean, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native, y'all believe in that shit. We don't believe in that shit. That's just done. Okay? Revelation 11 and 9, and they of the people and kindreds and tongues and nations shall see their dead bodies 3 days and a half, and shall not suffer their dead bodies to be put in graves. So these other nations, these different tongues and stuff, talking about the heathen nations, they shall see your dead bodies 3 days and a half. Okay, going to the 350-year period from 1619 to 1969. 1619 is when the majority of the Southern Kingdom came here on slave ships. Okay, in 1969 is when Esau went up to the moon. That's when this truth came out. Okay, so as he went up to the moon, supposedly he was the truth came out. All right. And the crazy part is, I was just watching in the news, they got something called Artemis 2. They about to go into the moon again, supposedly. People probably believe that bullshit too. It's been over 50 years. What's that? 1969, so say 1970 plus 50 years is 2030. So they're doing test runs, NASA is, to go set up. I guess they're gonna do a 600,000 mile. They're gonna go around the moon, he said. Fucking bullshit, man. Y'all believe that bullshit. That's all fucking lies, man. They can't go to the moon. Revelation 11, in verse, so they're not suffering your dead bodies to be put in graves, meaning they're not telling you, they know who you are. They didn't want to tell you who you were. You know that dude from Syria that got ousted before you got this, I forgot the dude's name, the new Al-Qaeda president over there, former Al-Qaeda president, now he's the president of Syria. He said that he was going into the history of the small hat saying, y'all ain't the real Jews. So they know. Vladimir Putin bringing out the Russian icons. So he knows. So they know. But who don't know? You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Even though the Lord got way more people out there now, there's no excuse. You can run, you can block your ears all you want. You're gonna die, man. You're gonna die. You can't run from the Lord. Lamentations. Chapter 2. In verse 15, all that pass by clap their hands at thee. They hiss and wag their head at the daughter of Jerusalem, saying, is this the city that men call the perfection of beauty, the joy of the whole earth? So they sitting there, they look at you and they just think, look at these people, man. This is the perfection of beauty. It's a mock. Okay? And they clap their hands. They're happy that you're in the position that you're low. They can come over here and prosper. When you've been over here this whole time and you can't prosper. They don't understand why you can't prosper. It's really the curses. But Esau makes it like that. All right? He makes it like that. He can get $200 billion to go start a war, but he can't educate you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, because you're his enemy. He wants to keep you in a perpetual state of being reprobate when it comes to the Lord. That's ultimately where he don't want you to be educated at, because this is our knowledge in the sight of the nations, according to Deuteronomy 4th chapter. Not going to a stupid ass school so he can teach you how to put numbers into parentheses and break it down. You're supposed to be breaking down the word of God, teaching that nigga how to stop being a demon, executing judgment on these stupid ass heathen that be going off. These are our laws, okay, that are not being implemented, and that's why the world's being run the way that it is. Deuteronomy 4 verse 5. Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as the Lord my God commanded me, that ye should do so in the land whither ye go to possess it. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. For what nation is there so great, who have God so nigh unto them, as the Lord our God is in all things that we call upon him for? So no one looks at the small hat and thinks, what nation is there so great, who has God so nigh unto them? No, no one thinks like that. Everyone's thinking, how is the Lord going to destroy them bring forth his justice down here on the earth. It's not coming through that nation over there. Okay? But you're going to see the justice of the Lord. No one's going over there to learn anything about oral circumcision and giving people herpes, giving little babies herpes. Nobody wants to learn how to do that shit. There's nothing great about that. That's profanity. It's disgusting. All right? It's a rebellion against the Lord. Matter of fact, let's see. Revelation 11. So we're speaking about that. What's that precept? What time is it? 11. Okay. A little more time. I gotta find something real quick. Zechariah chapter 9 verse 7, and I'll take away his blood out of his mouth and his abominations from between his teeth. But he that remaineth, even he shall be for our God, and he shall be as a governor in Judah and Ekron as a Jebusite. So he gonna take the blood out of Amalek's teeth, out of his mouth, and his abominations from between his teeth. So he gonna get caught for that. Okay, that's talking about Amalek doing oral circumcisions. He about to cut all that off. All right, that's an abomination. Because they're an abomination. Esau's an abomination. Let me grab this in the book of Proverbs, Proverbs 6. Now the wind don't want to blow anymore. Proverbs chapter 6 and verse 16. These 6 things doth the Lord hate, yea, 7 are an abomination unto him: a proud look, a lying tongue, and hands that shed innocent blood. So these are characteristics of the so-called white man. A heart that deviseth wicked imaginations, feet that be swift in running to mischief, a false witness that speaketh lies, and he that soweth discord among brethren. So that's what the Lord hates. And that's Esau. He says 6 on abomination, 7. What do you say? Salakia, I just dropped it. He says 6 are an abomination. And 7, no. He says 6 things doth the Lord hate, and 7 are an abomination unto him. So Esau is 7 goes into completion. Esau is a complete abomination to the Lord. That's why he does these types of things. Amalek don't like to call himself like a so-called white man, but he's Eliphaz's son. All right, Eliphaz is Esau's son. So that's you so-called white people's forefathers. You go back from, well, Amalek specifically goes back from it goes Amalek, Eliphaz, Esau. That brings them back all the way over there. Y'all might go back to Teman, you know, or these other dukes of Edom in Genesis the 36th chapter. Revelation 11 and verse 10, and they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them and make merry, and shall send gifts one to another, because these 2 prophets tormented them that dwelt on the earth. And 2 prophets talking about the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. They shall rejoice over the fact that you don't know who you are. So this is the time of their rejoicing. Okay, but their rejoicing is about to come to an end, because the nation of Israel is coming into power. Okay, which are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. All right. Revelation 11 and 11. And after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from God entered into them, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. So the great fear, the breath of life went into them, talking about the nation of Israel. And great fear went into these other nations. Because now they're starting to see, okay, oh, God does love Israel. Oh, that's not talking about the small hats over there. Oh, we're not. We're Edomites. Oh, okay. Oh, shit, we afflicted them? Oh, damn. Oh, it does talk about World War III. It does talk about an MOTB. It does talk about salvation for the Israelites. Oh, who am I in this? You're going into slavery. All right? And as more and more as this place starts to get deteriorated and corrupt and fall away, you're going to come into this knowledge and truth. You're going to stumble across a video like this because the Lord want to mark you for death. So you can laugh and joke. I'm glad you put that on the comment board because that's the verification that you've been marked. Okay? That's good. The laughing, the joking, the fuck you, that's good. Thank you. Because you're fucked when you get in the kingdom. Spiritually, we're going to fuck you up. Isaiah 24. Isaiah 24 and verse 7, the new wine mourneth, the vine languisheth, all the merry hearted do sigh. Yeah, the new wine's talking about this new way of life. Okay, these new philosophies, that's just languishing. It don't stand up to the truth. Okay? All the merry hearted do sigh. You used to be merry, used to want to celebrate all these holidays. That's just whack now. You sighing that because the heart of this place is being taken away. It's getting harder to maintain that pride that you once had. The mirth of Tabret ceaseth, Isaiah 24 and 8. The noise of them that rejoice endeth. The joy of the harp ceaseth. So the music, you know, the joy, the rejoicing, that's all coming to an end. Isaiah 24 and 9, they shall not drink wine with a song. Strong drink shall be bitter to them that drink it. That's right. They shall not drink wine with a song. Going to the bars. The last time y'all been to a bar? The last time you been to the club? You know, the homosexuals go all the time. I ain't talking about y'all. I'm talking about the regular people, man. We used to go to the club all the time. Go to bars, go hang out, go meet some thotties. That's just a wrap, man. Them bitches are disgusting, man. These women nowadays, man, I want to touch them with a 10-foot pole. She got the jab shot. Bitches be fucking all the most rotten niggas in the world. That's what women like. Women like base men. And this is a backward society, so they'll go fuck somebody that's niggas sniff fentanyl all damn day. That's who they want to have babies with. These women are stupid. Crackheads and drug addicts, drug dealers. Just got out of prison, 30 years for raping a little boy, and that's who these women like. Straight up, that's why they got to get put to death. Okay? So don't be mad about these bitches, man. Let these bitches go, man. These bitches are abominations. But there's going to be a time that we're getting into Isaiah 3 and Isaiah 4. You really can't bring out Isaiah 4 without bringing out Isaiah 3, because there's a war that's going to happen, which is going to cause a massive decline of men. Okay? And then a lot of the women that you're going to have, there's a lot of women out there that ain't like these whores that you see in these clubs and shit like that. All right? That's not the type of woman you want. Okay, you give a bitch too much time to herself, she'll destroy herself. All right? So the men of the Lord we're gonna find the elect women, because that's how they're gonna be saved. They ain't gonna be saved. Them whore sluts, those women got a short time. They're gonna die with Esau. I heard some bitch online talking about how much don't fuck with African Americans, and I was like, that's good. You're right. Go fuck with the so-called white man. Fuck you. Go fuck with the so-called white man. So you enjoy that, okay? When he put your ass to death, maybe they'll find your body in Milwaukee somewhere in the woods. Then we can do a video about that. Isaiah 24 verse 10, the city of confusion is broken down. The city of confusion is Babylon, which means confusion. It's broken down. It's breaking apart. You can't see it? I can see it. As a matter of fact, I forgot what country it was. They're doing shutdowns. They're doing, they said they're closing businesses at 9 o'clock so they can reduce traffic so you don't have to rely on fuel as much. I think China's doing a four-day work week. So shit like that, the IEA was recommending certain things to do. They said license plate rotations. So all that shit about to come over here. Then you got the new COVID strand going around. You got the white plague, got measles spreading. Okay. So this is all good. This is what you people get. We'll see how funny it is when these plagues start coming. Every house is shut up that no man may come in. You're right. Every house is shut up that no man may come in. So lockdowns, okay, curfews, martial law, you know, things like that. Isaiah 24:11, there's a crying for wine in the streets. Yeah, there's going to be more protests. Why is this going on? Why is that going on? Right? All joy is darkened. The mirth of the land is gone. So that's what's going to happen. The mirth of the land is gone. So it's going to be more protests. There ain't going to be any shops to go to. It's going to be nothing but protests, especially when they establish a draft. You're going to see more people want to figure out why I think people will be more politically motivated, especially the young generation. That's who came out during those No Kings protests. A lot of young people came out. Okay? Because they ain't going to have any jobs. Wait until the internet goes off. They're going to be through. That's their whole life. They're addicted to the internet, so they're going to be bugging the fuck out. When they can't play they're addicted to Call of Duty and Fortnite and, you know, social media. So when that gets taken off, they're going to be complete demons, okay? And they don't have the coping mechanism to cope with anger and things like that. So they're just going to start putting these people to death. You're going to hear a lot of emotional, I forgot what they call it, those episodes where someone just bugs out, they call the police and they come and kill them because they don't know, they're not trained to deal with somebody having an emotional episode. That's what you're going to see. Isaiah 24:12, and the city is left desolation, and the gate is smitten with destruction. When thus it shall be in the midst of the land among the people, there shall be as the shaking of an olive tree, and as the gleaning grapes when the vintage is done. Yeah, the shaking of the olive tree is talking about the thermonuclear missiles. When you shake an olive tree, when they're ripe, they start to fall. Just like if you shake an apple tree, well, apple trees are harder, but if you shake an olive tree, the ripe olives will fall. So it's a parable for the thermonuclear destruction. God's going to shake this place up, and those olives are going to fall, which is the thermonuclear destruction. They shall lift up their voice, they shall sing for the majesty of the Lord, they shall cry aloud from the sea. Wherefore glorify ye the Lord in the fires, even the name of the Lord, God of Israel, in the isles of the sea. So we're going to glorify ye the Lord in the fires. Okay, that's talking about us, it's actually talking about us being in the chariot, standing on a sea of glass, watching y'all get put to death. But we're going to glorify, let me grab that, and I got to go, I'm going to end it on that. That's what that's talking about. I wanted to read Isaiah 24, but I got to go. Read it for yourself. Revelation 15:1, and I saw another sign in heaven, great and marvelous, 7 angels, having the 7 last plagues, for in them is filled up the wrath of God. And I saw, as it were, a sea of glass mingled with fire. Going back into Isaiah 24. He said to the sea. Okay. Let me grab it again. I didn't mean to drop it. Isaiah 24. Isaiah 24. In verse 15, wherefore glorify ye the Lord in the fires, even the name of the Lord God of Israel in the isles of the sea. So fire is the sea, right? Revelation 15:2, and I saw as it were a sea of glass mingled with fire, and them that had gotten the victory over the beast, and over his image, and over his mark, and over the number of his name, stand on the sea of glass, having the harps of God. So that's how we get the victory over the beast, over the mark. Okay, that's what's coming. So y'all can laugh at me all the damn long you want, but you ain't preparing to get the victory. Okay. So it sucks to be you. I'm ending here. Lord's will, this is edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh. Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Machak Wadash, Shalom, Abba Ball, Kwam Yasharala.